Season 3, wow. Acting brand new. What's going on, guys? Listen, real quick before we get into today's episode, we just want to thank you all for your continued love and support that you guys always show us.
Yeah, and you know what? Stop what you're doing. Pull the car over. Drop the sandwich. Put the kid to bed.
Put the kid to bed.
Head right over to our website, ttmnbrand.com. You're going to find all latest news, clothing drops, live events that we do, all that.
All that. I mean, or you literally don't even need to. It's not like we have a gun to your head or anything like that.
Yeah, no one's forcing you to do anything.
All right, guys, let's get into it. Talk nice.
Let's get it.
Perfect.
You are now listening
You're now listening.
You are now listening
You're listening
to the Talk to Me
Talk to Me
Talk to Me Nice
Talk to me nice.
Talk to me nice.
Podcast.
You are now listening to the Talk to Me Nice podcast.
Talk to me nice.
Talk to me nice.
Talk to Me Nice.
Let's get it. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk to Me Nice podcast. You already know what's going on. I'm your host, Rob.
That's your boy, Cristiano.
And tonight we got my guy, Dane Williams, in the building. It's been some long time coming, man. This episode's definitely been, one we've been talking about for a little bit now. But I appreciate
Way too long.
Appreciate you pulling up, man. Good to see you.
course.
Good to have you, man.
Way too long. About time I'm in here.
Yeah, man. How's life going for you, bro? I know you got a lot on your slate. I know you've been getting to it.
Yeah. Life is good, man. Fortunate to be able to say that after the past year and, everything going on, COVID, hitting what we do pretty hard.
Right, yeah.
But, life's good right now. I'm in an amazing space.
Yeah.
Happy as hell. Working.
See you, bro.
Focused.
I think people see
Focused,
that. Yeah.
So,
That's good, man. It's a good thing to have going on right now, like you said. It's a great time too. Spring, summer coming up.
Right.
The weather's breaking.
Weather's
a lot
changing.
of things are turning on, and it's good, man. Kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel a little bit, But for listeners and the people out there tapping in with us right now, kind of just give a small introduction. On who you are, who is Dane Williams, where's he from, what's he do, things of that nature.
Got you. Definitely hard to keep it short. I hate being asked this question, but Dane Williams, I've lived here in Philadelphia now for like 6 years. Lived in the Lehigh Valley, like Allentown, Bethlehem, Easton area prior to for like 13, 14 years. Born in Reading, moved out of there when I was super young. When I moved to the Lehigh Valley, kind of, did my thing music-wise, started DJing, got into kind of the entrepreneurial thing, and then moved to Philadelphia and, took it to another level, like I said, 5 or 6 years ago. That's kind of the brief synopsis. I'm a DJ, entrepreneur, creative, hustler at the end of the day.
Yeah.
As you have to be during these times. But I always put myself as a DJ first. And then that entrepreneurial thing is kind of very, very close second.
Respect it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely found out about Dane originally as a DJ. And then after kind of tapping into you as a person, you're a lot more than a DJ. You're definitely like a little Swiss Army knife, if you call
I appreciate that, man. I do, for sure.
I think I first saw you when I was passing by the Champion store.
Bro,
Okay.
You remember that shit?
Yeah, that's when I first heard about you.
I was going to touch on that.
I think Rob told me about you. Said that this kid DJing at the Champion shop.
Literally
and we went to go check it out.
Yeah, so
I
Champion.
don't think you were there yet.
No. The first time me and you stopped in Champion, we went there because Aloysius had a mural painted on the top floor
That's right.
of the Champion store. He was always telling us, check it out.
Yeah.
Obviously, we were working in Center City. We popped in, and I believe you were spinning
Yes.
right in that first entryway. And I'm all right, you see Dame at Vesper and down in different places like that. And now, it's good to see he's doing other things outside of the nightclub scene.
Yeah, man. So it's funny you guys mentioned that because when we first started talking about doing this podcast, like month ago, whatever it was, I was going through my recap footage for that video that I put up top of the year, just about the DJing. And in that video, I think we got clips of both of you guys. And I was like, it is a small ass world. I didn't really know you guys at that point, but small world. And that event was like super dope. I partnered up with not just Champion, but this pretty big marketing company here in Philadelphia, Tierney. And they actually had tapped me to
That account.
that account and just doing. We did a lot of dope stuff with that specific event. They created like some custom merch for me.
Yeah.
Said respect the DJ. I still have that shirt. We did like a grand unveiling, and that store was just they showed love.
Yeah.
And that day was interesting because I literally came from Vesper. We did a day party, I believe, and then we popped over to Champion, and then at night back over the Vesper, back to back to back. And the recap. That's probably one of my favorite recap videos.
Okay.
Honestly,
Just moving.
yeah, just
Getting to
moving
it.
and
good weather. I believe it was like a spring, summer.
beautiful day.
Yeah, it was a great
beautiful
day,
day.
No COVID.
Yeah, no
Prime
COVID,
location
definitely
too. That's
pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Champion was a beautiful store, man. It seems like they had a lot going on within the community that I like to see. The location was prime, so so I felt like it was definitely a much needed space for them to be at. But yeah, bro, it was definitely good to see you get into it.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. With that day, just in general, man, I days like that are days that I look back on and I'm like, I cannot wait to create those opportunities for other young cats in the city.
Yeah.
Because, this game moves fast, the DJ game specifically, and that's like what I'm all about. I know we talked off the scenes about what's going on with nightlife here in Philadelphia, things rolling out, things coming soon. And, I know you guys have deep involvement with a lot going on in the city that I'm sure we can dive into.
Sure.
Same thing with myself and like this new venture with Mei Mei and, my private event company. Those are the things that I really want to create. That's like next level shit, to be going from a nightclub or a day party to a very like corporate style but fun creative event back into a nightclub and just be able to smash it and the content around it. I had a videographer the whole day, and I still use that content to this day. That's opened up way bigger doors.
Right.
Those are the things that I'm really pushing to create for the young dudes coming out of the city now.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen you seem like it pretty much. You were at one point DJing everywhere, from nightclubs to, like we said, the Champion store.
Yeah.
I believe I saw you at a resort, maybe on an island,
Okay.
or was it Bahamas or Mexico or
Yeah,
some type of vibe. So
that was the Bahamas. Literally, that was that was the first time I had DJ'd overseas, and also one of the last gigs that I did pre-COVID.
Okay.
It actually overlapped with COVID and the shutdowns here hitting Philadelphia. It was March. I'll probably never forget that. But I remember we had just so many moving parts, but I remember we had the day parties going on here at Mirage. We had, I think we were in like week 6 or 7 with those. And with that specific, the last one that we had fell on a Sunday. And I remember I couldn't make it because I made the option to, fly out and DJ out there, which was amazing.
Yeah, experience for sure.
Amazing experience, but also like bittersweet because I knew the city was shutting down. I knew it would be our last one. I didn't know for how long,
I know.
day party wise. But, again, bittersweet because it was my first time DJing overseas.
Yeah.
Shout out to the homie DJ Newsy. Definitely got to plug him because he plugged me in over there pretty heavily.
Facts.
And that opened up a lot of different doors. And as soon as things open back up, I'm right back over there, man.
Yeah.
That's the goal. That's the idea.
As you should, bro. Ain't it crazy, like, the little things, man, like, just simple things, bro, like how he had the day party going on, or things like that. Like, it was like an every day or every week basis, and the little things like that. I just can't wait to get back to doing the stuff like that that we really didn't realize in the time.
That they were just be gone.
How much things, were underappreciated, but,
Yeah.
shit was moving, man.
I mean,
That's
one of the things that honestly, I don't want to sound like an ass, but I never really took for granted.
Yeah.
Coming from an area like the Lehigh Valley that was really small.
Yeah, for sure.
And then coming to a space like Philadelphia, like I came here with 0 connections. I have no family here. I had no friends here. I moved here because I was supposed to go to school and I planned on making connections, but that whole idea fell through college-wise. I went to, just to rewind to tell the people a little bit, I graduated high school, went to East Stroudsburg University up in like Stroudsburg area. Had a fun time, but just the whole school, like that path, I realized very quickly wasn't conducive to what I was doing in the life that I was like living. I wanted to play football. was trying out to get a scholarship, but also simultaneously I was DJing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday till 4 or 5 a.m. It just didn't work out,
Right.
you know? And then I also made the dumbest mistake of my life, taking all 8 a.m. classes,
Oh, man.
like as a freshman,
Silly.
thinking I'm gonna just get up and knock it out and
Yeah.
have the rest of my day.
Rough.
So
Yeah.
it was rough for sure. Ended up, taking over the scene kind of DJ wise out there, but all the other kind of work fell to the wayside, and I ended up getting in trouble. More on that later. But got in trouble. Just looked at the whole, that whole plan, and decided that I was going to take a step back. Did a semester or a semester and a half at community college back home, staying with the fam. And then I was in this dual admissions program from the community college that would have transferred me to Temple.
Right.
Finished out my associates, moved to Philadelphia, and from there, basically there was an issue with my transcripts. So I would have had to wait like half a semester or till the next semester to get everything in, and I would have had to wait a semester basically. And I
that's
had
a
already
bitch,
had
yeah,
plans
because-
to move to Philly, so
Yeah.
I came, and just that's when things like really took off
Yeah.
business wise. I really had nothing to do but DJ, so I was at the time putting out content, linking with people, and just got like really connected to the streets here in Philadelphia.
Kudos to you, bro. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Because a lot of people, they say, "Well, it's not who what you know, but who you know." To the
Definitely.
spot or connections. And,
Definitely.
So to come into a spot where you're playing at, the top tier, restaurants, bars, events, things like that.
Yeah.
It's major, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Establishing that for yourself.
Yeah, that was the goal. I
That was a small goal, and now you're on some.
that was a small goal. I want to say, because I know a lot of younger dudes are gonna definitely see this, and guys that look up to myself or even look to me as competition or whatever it is. The thing that really, pushed my hustle here in Philadelphia, I remember moving here, and during that downtime, I remember a lot of my friends were relatively connected. They would go out, nightlife, pop bottles, flex, do all that.
Right.
That never was really my thing. I always wanted to be a part of what was moving and shaking at a ground level. Even dating back to Lehigh Valley, I started as a promoter, hand to hand, and I love talking to people to get the feedback. That's how I adjust what I'm doing. So, I remember my friends would go out, and I honestly don't remember where it was or what night or whatever, but I remember going to one of the nightclubs, standing in line, got to the front of the line, and couldn't get in for whatever reason. And I didn't know anyone. And I remember that shit had me so irritated.
Shitty feeling, bro. It's a shitty
So
feeling.
irritated that I had no plugs in the city.
Yeah.
And again, I came here with nothing, have no contacts. My boys didn't have any plugs whatsoever. So I remember going home because it was a high level contrast from back in Allentown, Lehigh Valley. I can go anywhere, walk into different places. I know the GMs, all the owners, stuff like that. So I just remember thinking that shit's never gonna be the case again, ever.
Yeah.
Went back home, expressed my frustration to the lady, and just the team around me. And at the time, somebody that I looked up to a lot was DJ Damage, who now lives in Cali. And I used to message him all the time. And I remember messaging him and being like, "Yo, just moved to Philly. I've been following you for a while. What do you recommend?" To do basically in terms of so I don't run into this again. I want to start DJing in clubs, whatever. And again, another thing I'll never forget, he said, "Philly's small, bro. Get in and get out." And I stuck with that. I'm like,
Yep, we talked about that a lot. It's small. It is. People don't realize.
yeah. There's there's again a solid number of people that within nightlife run everything.
If you know a couple names, you're good everywhere in the
Yep.
city. Yep.
So I took his advice. I got in. I started shaking hands, kissing babies, DMing guys, just
Yep.
whoever I could meet. But it was always authentic as hell.
Right.
Whatever I could do to help out somebody, that was never a foreign concept to me. I'm not scared of work. So some of the guys that really took me under their wing. One, DJ Damage plugged me with a guy named Tim Russ, who
Shout
I'm
out to
sure
Tim.
you guys,
Yeah.
shout out to Timmy. And at the time, Tim was involved with Down heavily, doing their DJ bookings.
Absolutely.
So he took a chance on me, you know, and we ran it up like crazy. And then from there, we, you know, I was, through my older brother, I was connected to a homie named Frankie Votto, who was actually the first person to ever mention Rec Philly, whose studio we're recording at right now.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, they were shaking, but at a different level, ground level.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So Frankie, you know, plugged me in with a bunch of different people, you know, in the music scene, and just kind of showed me around. I remember shooting a video in Chinatown before I knew what Chinatown was. And now we're, you know, in there
Now we're
all
here.
the time. Always a bittersweet thing,
Now
man.
we're here, bro.
But you know, I just remember like these little instances of people, you know, just
And I
hustling,
yeah.
linking with people.
Yeah. I can appreciate that too, like looking on the outside.
Yeah.
The fact that like a guy like Damage or Tim, you know, giving you love and giving you some advice and which route to go. I mean, that goes a long way. You know what I'm saying? Because there's always going to be that next talent up, right? That
Bro.
next person up.
So long. I don't mean to interrupt,
No, you're
but two other guys that I definitely want to shout out. Ghost, DJ Ghost.
Yep.
Man, that guy took me
Ace.
under his wing.
Yep.
And still to this day, like literally before we walked in, we were just talking, you know, but and then DJ Hollywood as well. Those two guys who movers and shakers in the city, especially from the DJ end of things. Those two guys like really took me under their wing.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think a lot of that had to do with like my willingness to hustle, and also my willingness to be like, look, if you guys don't give me these opportunities, I'm going to make something happen of it regardless.
Either way.
I've always been that way. So it's either, you know, I looked up to them, but I'm like, it's either you get with it or get left
you're late
behind.
on it,
like,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
'Cause it's
I
happening.
respect who you guys are, but just know I'm here now.
Yep.
And I've always taken that approach with the DJ stuff, with business. You know, I don't like to do anything half-ass. I don't like to spend energy, especially as I get older. Like, if it's not for me, it's not for me. I'm okay with saying no to different opportunities. That's just it. That's just the way of life.
Yeah.
But man, like, just the how everything comes full circle. Like this most recent opportunity with the guys over at Mei Mei that we talked about, or that we can, you know, dive into
for sure.
Yeah.
and you know, like post-COVID, some of the first guys that I'm relinking back up with are Hollywood, Ghost, Damage. Like it's just like
how life
it's
moves.
it's crazy how life works, you know.
So kind of let's talk, man. Let's talk about transitioning out of the DJ scene. You know,
Right.
kind of. I know you still, you know, could be that man.
we still
but-
get it shaken. Don't
Yeah,
get it
'cause
twisted.
Don't get it twisted, right? But now we're focusing on different things. You know, kind of the more, you know, event side and curating these environments and atmospheres, and working on the different side of that scene. You
Right.
know? Why are we doing this now? You just felt like it's time to switch it up, or you felt like
So, all right. So, what people don't really realize is when I moved to Philadelphia, and like when I say things took off, I was DJing in nightclubs, but one of the things that really grew for me was at the time I had a private event company. Well, I still have a private event company that's growing, you know, rapidly, but that private event company was like small. We were doing 40, 50 events a year. But I realized like at the end of the year with doing my taxes and just talking to my family and stuff, like that private event company was actually floating my living. It wasn't the nightclubs. The nightclubs kept me relevant and my name out there, and, you know, but the private events, the weddings, the, you know, the champion stuff that we talked about, those events were pretty lucrative and also were extremely dope because the opportunities that I was saying yes to were, you know, they were cool, creative opportunities. And I'm just blessed to be able to, you know, to have those put in front of me. I think it's all a testament to saying no to certain shit. Like, I've never been scared to say no to something. But so I had that private event company, and that floated things. And I had that for a while. Actually, this pre-COVID, last year, that private event company, along with the nightclub sort of business, which I look at them separate, they both took a huge hit. But I was fortunate enough to be able to have some savings from largely the private events
right.
to be able to continue to say no to a lot of the stuff that guys were saying yes to during COVID.
Yeah.
And I think that's bigger than just DJing. That's like an investment strategy. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
That's, that's always how I've done things. And that's how I'm going to continue to do things. So that helped tremendously. And, truth be told, there was very little like clout that came from the private events that I was doing. I don't have 10,000 followers on the Williams event group Instagram. But, I'm getting quality clients that are getting, we were able to do just some amazing events, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Seems it, bro.
with well-involved individuals.
And they're different,
that are different, that were beyond just the nightlife stuff. So, that's always been a thing for me. Like, I've always thought with a business cap, and the club stuff is just like, I love DJing. That's why I say I'm a DJ first.
Yeah.
But I never wanted to put myself into a position where I had to say yes to a gig. I never want to pit myself into a box, man. I come from like nothing. So I always wanted to give myself options. And, through COVID, it tested really everything that I had built and whatever, which led me to, again, thinking with my business cap, but taking those same principles and applying it to like the real estate stuff that I'm doing. I got a couple investment properties now. It's just all about diversifying.
Yeah.
But staying true to, if you diversify, it allows you to stay true to like those core principles.
Right.
What a lot of guys run into, I think, is like deviating away from those core principles or not having those core principles. Like, my core principles are simple, man. I love DJing. I never want to feel like I'm working because time is like your most valuable asset in life, right? So anytime that I feel like I'm in a job or like I have like a boss, like when I tell you like anxiety for me.
Stressful. Yeah.
Especially doing what I've done. Go ahead.
I'm in the same boat. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
I like to, like, I'm a creative first.
Exactly.
My goal was, can I get paid to create? You know what I mean? How can I make a living from creating?
Yeah.
I used to always say, I want to make a living.
Yeah. Because then I don't really feel like I'm working when I'm doing that. I'm
You
enjoying
enjoy it so
myself.
much.
I'm enjoying putting things together, and seeing people enjoy them too is just a plus.
Yep.
And it's just like a validation kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like in the end, when all that's gone, just me there, like, oh, I just made this. This is, and I love it. You know what I mean? And if someone's gonna pay me for it, that's dope, and I can live off that.
Yeah, that's
You know?
that's a dope benefit of, being a creative for sure. But I will say I've come to realize, especially with like these other investments and things that I have going on, like, the older you get, you realize you got to pay your bills.
Right.
Like, let's be honest. Sure. So again, diversifying has allowed me to pay my bills, but still continue to say yes and no to certain things. And I'm so fortunate and blessed to have found something that I love as much as DJing. Like, I love music, so to make a living from that is a plus, like you said. But I also have come to love business, like seeing things, because I look at business like seeing things from the ground up. Like, it's just the most amazing feeling. I tell my boys all the time, like, bro, if you have, like, I want to bring as many people with me as possible. If you have a business idea, let's talk about it. Let's iron it out. Like, I'd be the first one to invest, to push, to give advice. Like, no charge, none of that. Like, I love that as well, from the ground up. I think, honestly, my journey in DJing, my love for it so much is because it's organic. It came from the ground up. So that, like, that's, sounds cliche, man, but that's like my thing. And I can't say it enough. Like, coming from where I come from, leaving home at 15 and like just getting to work, like that, all that shit is a blessing because it's allowed me now to
Turns
be
you into who you are.
my age and just do what I love and chase those goals and dreams. But this past year, I always say this was a hard ass test, for sure. And
Especially in the space that we're all in.
Especially in the space and saying no to what I had to say no to, which I mean, you guys are familiar with some of it, but not all of it. Like, there was some really big deals and opportunities that I had to say no to just because I realized that things weren't being run properly, and I had to trust my gut to just step away and say, look, you know, it seems like a great idea, but again, not for me.
Yeah.
But, you know, something that I definitely wanted to dive into that I'm super excited about beyond the private event stuff and, you know, the 80 to 100 events that we have already booked in March for this year is this deal that we have with Mei Mei. It's a collaborative partnership.
You have to check it out.
I know. I haven't been there yet.
You definitely have to.
I was gonna go last week, but
I've been telling you.
Rob came through, showed love
on a weekday. It wasn't, you know, I've been seeing on the weekends. It looks a little bit of a different, elevated atmosphere.
Yep.
You only been there on the weekdays? You said?
I've only went. I believe it was like a Tuesday.
Okay.
Or a Wednesday. It was a weeknight. And I had an expectation going into it, you know, from, you know, people posting. It had a buzz, right? It had a buzz. You know, and honestly, it matched the expectation that I had.
Right.
I already knew going into it that I liked the food they offered. You know, I'm a big Asian cuisine type of person. I can eat that food all the time.
Now you know what kind of places like I like to, like those New York kind of loungy places, like
you
Leda.
love
Like
it.
I kind of like Leda.
That's why.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I didn't know.
another-
Does
another
that kind of
type
hit
vibe.
that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so aesthetically, you know, the ambiance is crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy ambiance. I mean, I
I've
think you
seen
were
some
telling me
pictures,
Dane
yeah.
popped in, you know, and showed us, you know, myself, all love in there, you know, kind of guided us on everything from the menu to what to expect going into there, things like that. But the vibe is insane in there, bro. Like I said, I didn't go there on the weekend, and I know you guys do a different elevated atmosphere.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Yes,
where
sir.
there's some more live music happening and
Yeah.
things like that.
So we call it elevated dining on the weekends, basically Friday and Saturday. We have, during the 8 to 11 portion, it'll be myself or other DJs within the city just DJing. You know, it's more like vibe dining. It's new wave, house music, soulful, rhythmic stuff. You know, but it's not a club, but it's a dinner party. It's an atmosphere. It's really just a vibe, man.
And
You can't.
All my favorite places in Miami,
Yeah.
restaurants. What are they? The Swans, the Poppy Steak, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
elevated dining. It's a different experience. I don't
know.
want to sit there. That's how it is. It's
Yeah.
you're having a good time while you eat. It doesn't have to be too corporate or too. You know, you can have a good time with it while you're out on a date or you know with whoever.
That's the idea. You know, especially for the weekends, we want to have the sexiest in the city in the building. Period. Like that's our whole slogan. That's what we're going with. It's, you know, chic Taiwanese cuisine.
Yeah.
With we say crafted sounds or curated sounds and crafted cocktails. You know, that's the whole vibe. And like he said, the decor. He hit the nail on the head. The decor is just amazing.
Designer, same as
It's the guys from Tao.
makes sense.
I honestly, his name is drawing a blank, so I
That
apologize.
same
but
group though.
Okay.
You know, is
they do
their
Crush
interior
it.
design.
yeah,
is
they
insane.
did. They did some of the stuff over there, and then also, you know, I gotta show love to Jay, Chef Jay Ho. He's the owner, my partner in the deal, and then also head chef as well. And he's back there cooking, chefing, you know. So
Nice.
I love that. Like,
Yeah.
he's so passionate about food and
Yeah.
cuisine, and he has a vision. And man, that deal. Now we've only been rocking for a month and some change now, but when I tell you we sat down and within 5 minutes, synergy, like the weight that was lifted off my chest, because I told you I've had so many meetings with so many people that just like when we sat down, he's like, listen, you get it, you understand. We don't need to sit here and go back and forth. I've met with so many people. You got it. Let's get involved.
Yeah.
We worked out, you know, the logistics, you know, and it's really a collaborative partnership, which is weird for a lot of people because they don't really understand. Like, most people think, you know, nightclub, we're gonna just, you know, hire a staff or whatever. But, you know, Mei Mei is Jay. That's his vision, his company, and my company's Williams Event Group. And we we created a collaborative partnership between those two ideas, those two concepts. So I'm not like GM, I'm not, running front of house or anything like that, but I'm there to push the vision, to solidify what we're doing.
They're the best type of concepts, man.
Yep.
When two creators come together like that and collaborate, there's, because that's one-of-one concepts that are being put out.
And a lot of times with these deals, man, they just don't. I've been in enough rooms to understand, like, when somebody gives creative freedom and then they circumvent things, with this, it's just like it's a blank slate. He gives me the floor. If I'm in there, which I am in there every day right now, and there's something that we need to fine tune or fix operationally, front of house, implemented like that, and beyond that, there's a certain leeway that people need to give somebody like myself or just somebody in my position, to be able to implement those changes, without it feeling like I'm stepping on anyone's toes or anything. And that power and that creative ability has been given to me.
That's huge.
Huge. Like,
you need that.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
else there's always
So
going to be a conflict,
Mhm.
and even if there isn't in the beginning,
Yep.
it would just sit there,
Yep.
and it would grow and fester, and
Exactly.
then eventually comes up, blows up.
Yep, you
and-
build resentment and
Exactly.
all types of stuff. So
Yeah.
again, I've been in enough rooms to understand those things, and like I said, just synergy across the board. So we're fortunate to be extremely busy right now.
Yeah.
Fridays and Saturdays sold out, 2-3 weeks in advance at this time. And it's a vibe, and we have expansion plans. There's actually an area of the restaurant that I'm overseeing. I don't want to put too much out there, especially with the current times, but
That area that you're speaking on, that's the place where you want to be. Because when I went to dinner, I originally felt the vibe where this is probably going to be, Mei Mei's probably going to be the spot where I go on a date.
Mhm.
Or if I'm with a female, I can't really see if I'm in there with a couple of my guys like that.
Yep.
'Cause
Which is
it's-
A-okay.
and that's okay because that's a sexy and it's a great, and that's
Yeah.
their own separate entity.
Right.
But this space that that you're about to take over and have a lot of involvement with,
Total.
I'm excited for that because then that's the spot me and you pop out to. That's the spot my guys are collectively with the group come out to because the
Again,
idea
man,
for that is coming. Yeah.
We want to attract, like I said, top to bottom, the sexiest in the city. And, for the dinner portion, like you said, it's, you can definitely come out with your bros for sure, but it's better suited for like a date night or a high-end business meeting, something of that sort. And then, if you decide that you want to stay, which is the grand idea once COVID restrictions open up, upstairs we have seating at the bar for 30. Unfortunately, we can't seat right now, but there's 30 seats at the bar, all marble, long bar.
Nice.
It's going to be crazy when we can open that up. But we want it to flow, that vibe dining experience. We want it to flow directly into quote unquote nightlife, and do it synergistically. And I think with my experience and also Jay's experience, we'll be able to successfully accomplish that. And more importantly, I think we're setting the pace. I knock on wood, but I think we're setting the pace for something like that in Philadelphia. Philly needs it for sure. We know it needs it, especially coming after COVID.
Yeah.
But it's something I'm extremely excited about. And even if I actually went in there as a consumer first, and then it just, like I said, synergistically, it just made sense. But that area and the project that we have, and we're going to be doing some construction to expand it and open it up a little bit. We want the best of the best in there. We want to attract the right people, the right clientele.
Beautiful space, bro. Beautiful space. Food's great as well. I like the smaller plate aspect where you could try a lot of the menu.
Yep.
I'm a fan of that as well.
Actually, a new menu rolling out too.
Yeah, love that. You
it's-
guys had specials that night I was there. They
Yeah.
had,
Yeah, we always got new specials. Again, chic Taiwanese cuisine, so we're going to be rolling out different things very frequently, more frequently than most in the city, but
Yeah.
I think we have the freedom to be able to do that when you have a head chef in the building that understands it.
excited for you guys, bro.
Yeah, so that's the idea with that. And, again, creating new opportunities for DJs as well, upstairs and downstairs. Always bringing it back, to that, and expansion beyond just Philadelphia.
Absolutely.
Philly, we want to be in every major market, and we want to do it soon. So it's bigger than just
The
here.
city. Yeah, absolutely. Now the weather's breaking. We were talking on that earlier. It's getting a little warmer out.
Yes,
Summer's
sir.
coming up, and last summer you had some things happening. Obviously, within a certain time frame and restrictions at that, but Santucci's
Yes,
popped
sir.
open a location in the Ventnor Margate area.
Yep.
Santucci, great
Man.
spot, obviously, and great reputation. But you guys were getting busy, as much as you could
Yes.
on a Sunday
Yes.
at Santucci's.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that, man.
The Santucci's deal is the result of like a bunch of different moving pieces, and obviously we don't have time to dive into everything. But the Santucci's, I've been doing their kids parties for a while, just DJing. They have, I think it's 4 kids now under 7 or 8. So there were like times when I was DJing their kids' parties. It's crazy. They're crazy.
Yeah.
Their family's crazy. I love them.
Do you know Blake?
Blake, yes.
Yeah, so I grew up with Blake.
Okay.
And his younger brother, Aaron.
Okay.
Yeah.
Blake is my guy. Like
Yeah.
he is an interesting character for sure, but
Yeah.
my
He
guy.
is.
And then Alicia,
Yeah.
his wife.
Yeah.
Amazing people. Just the whole family. Like they embraced myself, and again, man, coming full circle. That deal, how everything fell into place, it just made sense at the right time. I linked up with Danny Diamonds, who we know in the city.
Shout out to Danny.
Man, Danny is a king. Like he's I can't say enough good things about Danny. He's
Great person.
plugged up, and that's his market. And one thing I do want to say is like, as I dive into how this deal was and how everything happened, one thing you got to understand is you have to know what you don't know. You have to, especially when you're expanding into like new territories and new markets, and you want to do it. There are a lot of people that want to step into these rooms or these arenas with, businessmen, and they're like, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this, I can do that. With them, look, I DJ'd there over at the Santucci's. Talked to Blake. Blake was like, look, we want to expand into X, Y, and Z. I said, look, this is my first time, to be honest, down in AC DJing, in Ventnor specifically.
Yeah.
But I know the right guy, for sure. That's what I told him. Sat with Danny a lot, honestly, because Danny's a super loyal dude, and at the time, he has a nightclub that he's overseeing, and there's obviously like trust issues and also like just the respect business-wise. So, I just pounded away, and I was like, look, I need you. This thing makes sense. It's a dope opportunity. They're giving me the floor to basically do what I want, but I don't want to do it without somebody that obviously knows the market. So after numerous meetings, talking to him and him talking to his counterparts and getting the stamp of approval ultimately, from him and all the people around him, we made something happen, and then from there, man, it made sense. Like, went down there, the Sunday parties, definitely had a number of different challenges because the Santucci's are not a club. They've never been.
Right.
They're a pizza spot,
Right.
a great pizza spot at that, but
But you love to see the risk.
Yes.
Taking the risk and
Yes.
separating yourself from the competition.
yeah, and that's something I realized, man, like, it was a dope opportunity, and before that, I literally, like, wrote it on my goal board. I want to tap into that AC, that beach market.
Yeah.
And there are a few people that are what I think are, to be honest, I'll be blunt with you, they piss me the hell off out there because they are gatekeepers, and they want to keep people like myself, if I'm being blunt, people like myself out of that market. Again, that was a driving factor for me. I remember writing it down. I remember reaching out prior to, just about DJing in that market, and I remember feeling like, okay, they're saying no, but they're not saying no because they don't know who I am. They're saying no because they know exactly who I am, and they don't want that there. And it just lit a fire under my ass. So I was like, look, if we're gonna make it, we got to make this thing big, and just shout out to the Santucci's, because that location in Ventnor is like prime. It's
Yeah.
they outfitted it
Prime.
amazingly, and
Yeah.
then the roof deck and just like a vibe during the summer, spring. I'm
Yeah.
excited to see, you know, what they have going on. They do the live band thing as well, a couple different DJs, and you know, it's a
Great
great
space,
spot,
yeah.
great space, and I'm fortunate enough to just be connected. But I really, honestly, like I can DJ for sure, but I couldn't do what we were trying to accomplish without Danny.
Yeah.
Like he and I learned a ton about that market too, and a ton about like the hospitality game. Danny is like the type of person, like he's directly touching every single person that walks in that door. Texts, dapping up, phone calls beforehand. Like he's still that guy. It's not just an email thread, or it's not just a post on social media. He still values that tremendously. And I gained like my respect and trust went from like here to like here. Because the first week that we actually rolled out those Sunday parties, I had an issue where I had a personal health issue from COVID that I had to miss it. And when I tell you, like, to start that first week, we didn't really have everything operationally in order, but we knew we weren't gonna.
Yeah.
Just because we didn't know what issues were gonna arise and whatever.
It's a tough time. Yeah.
He ran that thing like
no other.
no other, and like FaceTime me like 12, 13 different times because people were asking
you
for me.
say,
He's like, yo, they wanted to talk to
Say
you
what's up.
while he's running the door and telling
Yeah.
security what to do. And I was just like, man, like this guy is
Great people, man. Just
great people.
Aside
Yeah, he
from
is.
business and the work, Danny's a great person, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know, used to go to places specifically for him, regardless of, you know, what it is I'm doing there, whether I'm with a group at a section or I'm just pulling up myself just to see you. Like, had to make it a point to touch with Danny because he's good people, man.
Yep.
And he's, you know, very genuine. You know, you don't really meet a lot of people like that anymore. You know, especially within certain industries, you know, on how he is. So, great person.
Yeah,
It's awesome to see you guys do things together.
Yeah, he's the shit. Honestly,
Yeah,
that's
he's
my
great,
guy. Like,
great.
there are a select few people that you meet that are like you just get it, and he's definitely one of them.
Yeah.
We bicker all the time because you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Comes with the territory, but
Sure.
like that's my guy.
So,
for sure.
could it does it have potential? Do you guys see, you know, future, you know, things coming with the Santucci fam and doing some things like that again this summer coming up?
Yeah. I think, you know, we definitely have to have a conversation. It's challenging because Danny again is now, you know, they're focused on getting their concepts back open.
Right.
And Danny has stepped into a role that is well deserved. I don't want to speak too much on, you know, on his position,
Sure.
but he's stepping into a role that I think is well deserved, but takes a tremendous amount of work. And again, I'm all for saying yes to the right opportunities, but saying no is a huge part of it as well. And you know, if the opportunity presents itself the right way, and you know, the Santucci's are like on board with maybe, if I'm being blunt, getting some assistance, because it can't just that thing doesn't look. That idea works, but it doesn't work to the level that I want it to work at.
Sure. Yeah.
Without having those other pieces in place. You know, but I think I see it all the time. Guys can go down to the shore and DJ and it'd be a great turnout, but like there's always ways to improve.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm looking at. That's why, you know, I'm sitting here listening to what you say about Mei Mei and what you say. Like, it's great, but I want to improve consistently. That's my whole.
That just goes back to probably your core and who you are as a person. You
Yeah.
know, not getting comfortable, boxing yourself
And business.
in, business
in
everything,
general.
everything.
You have to want to improve. You got to want to evolve.
That's
you
dope,
know.
man. I mean, that was our first summer during the
Yes.
pandemic. You know, I would be at bungalow some days, and what are we doing today? Tomorrow we're going to Santucci's. Like, people know.
Danny,
People
like,
know.
I knew these places, man, but Danny, like, I can't say it. He's so plugged in. Like, we were getting comped hotel stays and all this other. I don't even want to say too much, but like,
leave it off.
we were, you know, living
Taken
based
care of.
off of his contacts. Like,
Yeah.
there were nights when literally we got done at Santucci's at 1 a.m. and he's like, yo, we don't want to drive back because we got to handle some business the next day out
Next
here.
day, yep.
Comp the night stay easily. You know how hard it is to get a room at a hotel after those hours just because they close it out completely?
Yeah.
Like, there's no
In a
concierge there.
pandemic,
In a
yeah.
pandemic.
Yeah.
Like, but he was able to make it happen a bunch of different times. And then like you brought up Bungalow, he took me over there a bunch of different times, and he's shaking hands with the owners of these places.
Yeah.
They know him first name basis. That in itself is not trying to flex by any means.
No,
it says a lot though.
I learned so much about just room for growth, and it was like it just again lit another fire under my ass. I'm like, I want that for what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for him to be his age doing it like that still, like he could have sat back. I tell him all the time, bro, you could sit back and just chill, collect residuals like off of just referrals and host and whatever. But he's like, nah, bro, like he thrives off of that, and you have to in the hospitality game, like you have to love this shit, because otherwise people are going to like piss you off, and you like there's give and take to it, man. And as a host or in the hospitality game, like if you don't truly love it, it's always short-lived. But it's like a gift and a curse, because for me, like I take a lot of this shit home with me, and I wish sometimes that I could just whatever, done deal for the night. But man, like when I tell you my mind is running constantly, like tonight I'm sure nonstop.
Yeah.
But you have to. It comes with the territory. Like I always say, you gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them, and just have a support system around you too. That
Thanks,
can,
bro. Yeah, definitely.
I look to you guys honestly as a part of that for sure. Like it's dope to see other people in the city dabbling in the same realm, and also like I had this conversation with my homie Corb. Shout out to Corbin. Like I told you, don't stress too much. But I'd be honestly stressed if you weren't stressing.
That's with that urgency, right?
With that urgency.
Sometimes the lack of urgency,
right?
Makes me doubt you sometimes.
Exactly.
On some people. And you know exactly what I mean. Listen, we definitely can't let you dip off without touching on this Doers apparel, because I know.
Word.
Doers is something that you've been cooking up, and it's a brand. I know Dame
Little
is a brand
gems.
himself.
I didn't know if we were gonna get to it or not.
Listen, you don't have to even give me too much, because I know we're still some ways out. But what's up with it, man?
I got you, man. Don't want to sound cliche, but the doers lifestyle is. If you look back 6-7 years, I was hashtagging doers. I've always been about action. Mm-hmm. Everybody has this. They talk. But are you putting things into play? And like something I learned a while back from the sales thing that I did was, are you doing money-making activities? What's moving you toward those goals?
Right.
Anybody can move and do different things, but how much of those activities are translating toward the end goal? It doesn't have to be money. It could whatever your end goal is. So doers just is a lifestyle thing. I only want to surround myself with people that are action takers and doers. Mm-hmm. They're not talking for 6 months about whatever the next plan is.
Just idea after idea.
Bro, ideas are a dime a dozen, especially, I'm sure you both know, in the creative space, ideas come too damn often. Yeah. It's hard to shut them off. Yeah. Right. We need action takers and executors.
Absolutely.
And it's something I had to learn in business too. But the apparel is just, I think the whole idea will evolve into just a lifestyle brand. Yeah. But the apparel is, I think, the first step. Bottom line is, they're just, when it comes to apparel, I care about what I look like, as do we all in this room.
How you carry yourself, absolutely.
How I carry myself, and, with, like, just my build aesthetically is different than most. I got tired of buying clothes, to be honest, that didn't fit, or, like, that were a good quality fit at first, and then I wash them, and then it's, like, whatever. So, in short, I'm developing this brand that is all cut and sew. It's bigger than just like putting, patches or whatever somewhere and going with like your standard cut shirt. So it's taken a lot of time, especially with the pandemic and
other things.
That's other things on my hand, but the pandemic. It's an idea that I had as a lifestyle athleisure apparel brand for a while. So I'm definitely going to be rolling out some things by late spring, and a whole line of shirts, pants, some bomber jackets, some different items, all cut and sew though. by the end of summer. And then we're already rolling. The hard thing about the fashion game is the margins can be slim, and you have to pre-prepare if you want to do it at a high level. Like you should already be working, on right now. I should be working on like next winter.
Right.
But it's hard with styles evolving and changing and all that stuff.
Trends,
and then
yep.
within budgets and, with suppliers and COVID, you guys know there's so many moving pieces with what you guys have done with the apparel. I think the apparel game is fun. It's a hobby for now, but that lifestyle, that doer's lifestyle is something that I try to that embodies what I try to be and do and surround myself with. So I just knew I needed to, get that shit, get the domain name and all of that.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited, bro. Size large when you're ready, man.
size
I'm ready.
large?
Yes,
There's
sir.
no way you're
Size
large.
up, man.
There's no way, man.
Oh, keep it out.
Okay.
Depending on, bro, but my fits get weird shit till we ain't gonna get
Yeah,
into
I mean, the goal, honestly, was to have, I remember when we spoke like a month ago, was to have a care package for the both of y'all. But
Appreciate you, bro.
honestly, with the, with Mei Mei and that whole involvement, man, I'm in
Lot
there every
going on.
day.
Yeah.
A lot going on,
a lot.
but
It's a beast, man. It's a
But
beast,
I'm excited to see what you guys have up
Yeah.
your sleeve for this summer
We got some,
and spring.
We've been
and,
sitting on a
you
lot
know.
of different things.
I know.
For the brand itself. So,
I
yeah, bro,
know.
I'm excited for all of us.
Yeah.
Excited for Mei Mei. Like I said,
Yeah.
you're definitely going to be checking
I'll
it
be there
out as
soon.
soon as possible.
Yep. Yeah, get out there.
Everybody, definitely tap in, man. Dane Williams, appreciate you
Yep.
again, bro.
Appreciate you, my guy.
They've been trying to stop the wave, but the wave don't stop. Whoa. Hey, talk to me now, show you what we really about. Whoa. Hey, talk to me now, show you what we really about. Whoa. Hey, talk to me now, show you